Well, good morning. You know, just out doing things. What are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about headcount increases and the lack of action from our elected officials in regards to these requests that I've put in. And you know, I think that's the frustrating part, is because I'm zoned for all of this. I have the acreage, but I can't use it. That's the frustrating part in all of this, is that I can't use any of it properly without taking on a multi-million dollars in debt with the Ministry of Agriculture. Right? Does that make any sense to you? That doesn't make any sense to me. Whew. So what I asked for was an increase from our 100 hen laying limit to, and our 300 meat bird a year laying limit to 300 laying hens and 1,000 meat birds. Now those numbers are pretty important because every other province in Ontario runs those numbers, or every other province in Canada, sorry, I should say. I'm pretty frustrated this morning. Runs those numbers. And yeah, and we're kind of the outcasts here that don't get to run those numbers for some crazy reason. Personally, I think it's because the industry is run by the mob, but that's just my personal experience here. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense, because running those numbers would allow us to buy in bulk. It would allow us to expand and take our measly, I don't know, $1,900 of profits we make in a season and turn that into about $13,500 after all expenditures and everything else is done and taken care of. We're grabbing water. We're doing chores at the same time here. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Constant back and forth with my MP and MPPs of useless finger pointing. Hello, Caesar. Useless finger pointing that doesn't get anywhere, because the MP will point to the Ministry of Agriculture, and then you contact the Ministry of Agriculture and they point at the MP. Hello, Red. Saying that you need to have their representation. Well, the party that says that if you work hard and you invest your personal capital into something, you get to be a winner in this country. Well, they're not backing these individuals that are working hard like myself. They're not backing the individuals who have put in their personal capital, who have taken a gamble in an industry where profit margins on a good day, on a really good season, are 13%. We're not even talking in the 20s. We're talking 13, and that's really good. Our average profit margin is about 10 to 7%. Well, that's what I know we were talking about here. We're not talking about profit margins. We're talking about these guys. Well, that's Red Steven, right? We're talking about these guys. We're talking about these guys, right? That's what we're talking about here. And the frustrating thing is, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. But meanwhile, this guy, that fucking guy right there, he can run 600, just 600 ducks alone is over your limit that you're allowed to run with zero issues. That fucking guy right there gets away with it because he's a former Conservative MP. Isn't that funny? You want to talk about a two-tier system there, folks? Well, there you have it. There's your two-tier system. So how come that guy, this guy right here, can run and do all this and be successful illegally, running illegal numbers and not even having the paperwork and admittance by his own interviews, but I, who want changes, who still want to follow the standard, right? We're just chirping today, bird. Don't worry. who still want to follow the inspection process, who still wants to follow labeling laws and everything else, we can't get those numbers increased, right? Are small-scale producers that much of a threat to the industry? Huh? Think about it. That's what I'd like to know. I don't have an issue getting a contract with the Egg Farmers of Ontario and the Ministry of Agriculture, but I want to grow myself that way versus taking on millions of dollars in debt, because that's stupid. Why should I be forced to take on millions of dollars in debt and government contracts, shove these guys into cages so that way I can sell them at a forced rate and they can't live happy lives being ducks? Yeah, this is what ducks do. They do duck things. Isn't it crazy? You know? Could you imagine shoving these guys into a cage? I don't want to do that. That goes against my ethics. That goes against my whole reason of doing this. So our options are, right? We can do things illegally and nefariously and then cross our fingers and hope that we don't get busted. Right? That's our option. Or option 2, we can take on millions of dollars in debt and go fucking bankrupt for generations. It just, you know, we have this trade war that's going on, right? This whole trade war thing that's going on. And, oh, this is incredibly difficult to do one-handed with one good arm at least. And we can't do anything. It's ridiculous. This isn't common sense. We have the party that preaches about common sense and yet they don't practice what they preach. I'm not just saying it's the Conservatives' fault either. You know, it's the Ontario NDP, it's the Ontario Liberals. I haven't heard fuck all from them either. Isn't that crazy? No elected official wants to have anybody's back anymore. They just want your fucking handshake and your vote so that way they can get in office and do nefarious shit themselves. Isn't that crazy? Our system is so fucking broken. So fucking broken. Whew. Yeah, I'm out of breath. I'm also actually disabled. I'm strung out on government meth disabled. I'm legitimately disabled. I have nerve damage and a traumatic brain injury here. Hey? That's my rant for today. Why the hell can this guy, that guy right there, get away with it, but the rest of us who want to do everything by the books and have inspections, you know, we get penalized. We're not allowed to expand. We're not allowed to be profitable. Does that make any sense to you folks? Sure doesn't make sense to me. 300 laying hens bumps me into a category where it's worth my time to drive 2 hours to Mississauga to have my eggs graded, then drive 2 hours back another day to pick them up. Right? Brings me into that profitable level still. 1,000 meat birds versus the 300 brings me into a $13,500 range versus a $1,900 range. Could you imagine working an entire season, building up your flock? Try building up your flock, and then at the end of the day, you only get $1,900 from it. That's it. That's all you get. Doesn't matter how much work you put into it. That's what you're limited to. That's all you're allowed to make. This sounds more like a fucking monopoly and a fucking oligarchy here than it does a democracy. I hate to say it, but that's where we're at, folks. That is where we're at. Anyways, ducks have water, turkeys have water, chickies have water. Let's get expanded out here. I got all this real estate. All this real estate is going unused right now because I can't use it. I can't legally do it. If I expand, like this fucking guy here, like that guy, I have the ministry over here, and they seize all my birds. They kill my birds, just like they did those fucking ostriches, right? And then they seize my house, and then they find me into oblivion, and then I'll never ever be able to recover again. So why don't you let this disabled guy, who doesn't even get any government tax credits for being fucking disabled, you know, be a little profitable. It's not just about me, it's about other people too. There's other folks here as well. I would love to be able to expand in the market, but I can't. Because it's run by the fucking mob. Hey? Maybe we can understand now. That's it. That's my angry rant for today. That is it. That is all. I'm going to go enjoy a coffee now. Take care now. Bye-bye.